Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happenings today. There have been a lot of accusation and counter-accusation against the British envoy. Some said that Nnamdi Kanu is a British and the British have left him to himself. Others are saying that the British are just playing to the gallery. Others said they're being diplomatic. Others are saying definitely the British will come through for their citizens as we speak. It looks like the British have made good with their word, but then events have overtaken events and things are beginning to unfold. Before we go into the news report to find out exactly what is going on, I'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button beside it. You will see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Quickly, let's go to the news. But the operatives of the State Security Services (SSS) as at Wednesday blocked a British diplomat from speaking with the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, that's Nnamdi Kanu. Eno Agodo, the British Vice Consul, Lagos, had attended Mr. Kanu's trial before being Nyako on Wednesday in Abuja, where the Biafran agitator is being tried on a 15-count amended charge bordering on treasonable felony and terrorism. At the close of proceedings in the suit at the Federal High Court in Abuja as at Wednesday, Ms. Agodo first sought the permission of Ifeanyi for Mr. Kanu's lead counsel to speak with his client, which was granted. But as the British diplomat made her way to the dock where Mr. Kanu, who holds dual citizenship in Nigeria and the United Kingdom, was speaking with family members, she was intercepted by the Director of Legal Services of Secret Police and operatives who had formed a wall around the IPOB leader. Thereafter, reporters sought to speak with Ms. Agodo of what transpired, but she declined. Jonathan Bacon, a political counselor of the British High Commission, had written a letter dated January 11, 2022, and addressed to the trial judge, Mrs. Nyako, which he sought permission for Ms. Agodo to attend Mr. Kanu's trial from January 18 to 20th. In the letter entitled Nnamdi Kanu's Trial, access for British consular official to attend the Federal High Court 18 to 20th January 2022, the British High Commission specifically requested that Ms. Agodo attended the IPOB leader's trial as an observer. The United Kingdom harbored Mr. Kanu after he left and fled Nigeria in 2017 when soldiers invaded his home. This stalled his trial in Nigeria for years until he was rearrested and repatriated and reportedly in Kenya and brought back to Nigeria in June last year. Extraordinary rendition. While abroad, Mr. Kanu continued reaching out to the Nigerian followers through social media channels as violence linked to the Eastern Security Network (ESN) and the armed wing of the indigenous people of Biafra escalated in the southeast. During the period, the government of United Kingdom also resisted calls from the Nigerian government to declare indigenous people of Biafra a terrorist organization, as it was done in Nigeria in 2017. Blocking the British representative from having access to Mr. Kanu on Wednesday highlights what appears to be government desperation to cut him off from having any contact with foreigners or their agents. A similar scenario played out during Mr. Kanu's trial on Tuesday when Mike Ozohome, a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, who led the indigenous people of Biafra's leaders defense team, made frantic but unsuccessful effort to get Bruce Fein, a United States lawyer, to attend the court session. Mr. Fein, a counsel to the secessionist group in the United States, has not been able to have an audience with Mr. Kanu as he claimed several attempts to visit the indigenous people of Biafra leader at the DSS or at the SSS detention facility in Abuja had been resisted. I have not been able, I quote him now, he said, I have not been able to meet with my client, Mr. Kanu, since I arrived in Nigeria. Mr. Fein told our reporter in an interview last December. Officials of the State Security Services wouldn't let me meet Mr. Kanu. Mr. Fein added, saying the action of the spy agency is a gross violation of Mr. Kanu's fundamental right. Mr. Fain had received similar treatment during the previous proceedings in the case. However, a top official of the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF Abubakar Malami, said the American lawyer has no right to represent the indigenous people of Biafra leader in a Nigerian court. Bruce Fain has no right to represent either Mr. Kanu or indigenous people of Biafra in any Nigerian law court, the official who pleaded anonymity told the reporter. Was Mr. Fain called to the Nigerian bar? The source queried. Last week, Mr. Kanu wrote the British High Commission and the United States Embassy in Nigeria, urging them to send representatives to observe proceedings in his ongoing trial at the Federal High Court in Abuja. The Ipob leader premised his request on the grounds that the presence of the British and American convoys might guarantee fair trial of his case. All right, as it is right now, Nnamdi Kanu have done what he feels is right. He has invited all the legal luminary his hands could lay that are willing to work. The likes of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Michael Zahume, is also a visionary, a legend, or rather, a well-versed lawyer in his rights. He knows his onions. So definitely it's not just an ordinary lawyer, but a senior advocate of Nigeria for that matter. So yes, he has gotten among the finest as well for himself in Nigeria. While at age, he has gotten Bruce Fain, who's also a very strong lawyer who also knows his onions, but he didn't stop there. They also got another profound, very articulate and known for his roles, his special roles he plays for extraordinary rendition cases, where he at some point the lawyer had represented the Kenyan president at some point, and gave him what he wanted. He's actually used to, representing high-profile politicians. That's the newest person they brought into, I think Steve or so, brought into the clique of legal luminary to beef up his team. So you can imagine the kind of legal giants that Nnamdi Kanu have in his defense team, both internationally and nationally. And don't also forget that you have a special counsel, that's Aloy Nyako, also handling the Abia state, of which the first leg, of course, he won for Nnamdi Kanu, where the judgment passed was for the federal government to give Nnamdi Kanu 1 billion naira for apologies also to be tendered. So you now see that Nnamdi Kanu had actually surrounded himself with the best hands he could get. But the question now is, while he's surrounded, which is also permissive, the federal government does not want to take anything to chance, whereby there will be an exchange of words. This is strictly their case, and they want to handle it as fair as they can, even though people are shouting this is not a fair case, being that they keep adjourning, but time will tell anyway. Well, before we meet up, let's meet up in our comment section. What's the take on what is going on?